I teach a class for graduate, mostly undergraduates, but a couple of graduate students, and I just taught before I came here. And the class is Education and the Arts. And these are some big burly guys, some disinterested young women, and the music would have gotten them really going, but I used art instead, and I read today an Eric Carle book to the class on Hermit the Crab. Any of you know that, folks? You should have seen those students. As a result of that project, then they did their own artwork, predicting the outcome of the crab. And let me tell you, that is some inspired work that they did. So any age, the arts, music, visual arts, storytelling, it's all so wonderful. Well, visual thinking strategies is a technique that was developed by Philip Yenawine, who just wrote this wonderful book published by Harvard Press. He was at MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and he wanted to do something to help kids understand visual images. So he worked with Abigail Hausen, who was a professor at Harvard, and they came up with this strategy called Visual Thinking Strategies. Actually, it's an IES on the end, but VTS.
I can't be perfect because nobody is perfect, right? I did that on purpose.
I know you did. You were seeing if I really knew what I was talking about. So VTS, as we call it, is a method for increasing visual literacy, critical thinking, and communication. So those are the three goals, and it helps students to understand how to read a picture as you would a book, and then apply that. And they tested this strategy extensively with many different studies. And it did increase all those things, but it had an added benefit too. The students who were engaged in the visual thinking strategies curriculum also improved their writing skills. It makes sense. So, it's used with little children, as young as 3 years old. It's used all the way up through adults. It's used with medical professionals to help them listen to their patients better and understand their symptoms. So it's used all over. Use it for criminology training as well to help those professionals understand a scene. So what it does, it starts with a particular image, and I'm going to ask for some early childhood people.
Barbara.
Barbara is one of our children.
It's Ra. And Sandra. Did I get right?
Okay. So Barbara, you're going to be a little child now.
Yeah, come here.
There, come on. All right, now you're Tamara.
Yes.
And Sandra. Okay, so these are our little children. We're sitting in a little circle, and we're looking at this book. And I'm going to be asking them some questions, and I'm going to be modeling some behaviors for you. And then after we finish this little mini demonstration, then maybe we can debrief together. Hi, children. How are you today? Oh, what exciting. Very big for your ages. I love it. Healthy, healthy. I want you to take a minute and I want you to look at this picture. Just look at it. And I want you to think about what you see. What's going on here?
I see birds.
Oh, so Tamara says that she sees something that is a bird. Where is the bird?
I see there.
All right.
There. And I see one there and up there.
Oh, so Tamara is looking at this picture, and she seems to see a lot of birds. Here, here, and here. Tamara, what do you see that makes you think they are birds?
They have wings.
Oh, and where are the wings here? Here?
On this, there.
All right, so Tamara saw wings, and so she's concluding that there's a bird here, or lots of birds. What more can we find?
Butterfly, because I love butterfly. I even drew one here.
Well, what do you see in this picture that
See
they
a
could?
butterflies here and here.
What do you see that makes you think it's a butterfly?
The wings, the antenna, here,
So you're
the
looking,
shape of the butterfly.
you're looking at the shape of this object here and concluding that it must be a butterfly because it has the wing there, and you're looking up here,
All the way to.
all the way, very high up. So Sandra has noticed lots of butterflies, just like Tamara noticed some birds. So it seems that we have some living creatures here. What else can you
I see a
find?
little boy reading a book.
What makes you think he's reading a book?
He's holding it in his hands.
So you see that he's holding something in his hands, and you've concluded that that must be reading the book. All right, what more can we find?
Eggs. Looks like an egg for the bird, maybe.
So Sandra is looking at these things here and concluding that it must be eggs, and that perhaps these eggs came from some of these birds. What did you see that made you think they were eggs?
Again, the shape.
This shape here, the oval shape that you saw.
Shape, some big one. It almost
Mhm.
looks like a tree too, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's an egg.
Oh, so Sandra is expanding on her thought and thinking that maybe this is a whole tree and there are eggs in the tree. Okay, so you get the idea of this. I asked only 3 questions. What were they?
What do you see? And
Yeah,
big
what-
body.
What's going on here? Not why do you see?
What makes you think?
What do you see that makes you say that or think that? Because you're justifying your visual, justifying by pointing to something visual for your particular thought. So every thought is accepted. What else was the other question? What more? What more can we find? So I didn't say to them, Barbara, you need to tell me, what do you see? I just said, what more can we find? And that prompts the student to say a little more about what they're seeing. What was my job as the facilitator here? What did I do? I acknowledge, I listened, I questioned, I did what? Yes. Did I correct them and say, that's not a bird? No, I remain neutral. That's another feature of BTS, that you remain neutral to allow the critical thinking to take place. What else did I do after they said something?
Repeat it. You validate it.
I validated it. I didn't exactly repeat it. What did I do?
You acknowledge.
I acknowledged it and I sort of paraphrased it. It wasn't too easy to paraphrase it because these are very smart children and they said, that's a bird, that's this. But the idea of paraphrasing, and that's another strategy that's built into this, of showing how I can take a particular thought, put it in other words, not change it, but put it in other words. How did you feel about this experience?
Wanted to say more. But I always want to say more.
I thought I did that. How did you feel?
I felt like you heard what I said, and
yeah.
I felt
You
acknowledged.
acknowledge, yes.
And that's so important, and that's another feature of visual thinking strategies. If you do this, you will find sometimes you have to stand, as the rabbi was saying too, he was used to waiting. Sometimes you'll stand a long time or sit with them and say, what more can we find? And after a while, they'll come up with it. And I've seen this and done this with kids of all kinds. The wild ones, I want to answer right away. Is that right? Is that right? But it works in almost all situations. It's a wonderful, wonderful strategy, and I urge you, there's some material in the book that talks about how you use it. And then after you've done something like this, not in the same lesson, but maybe the next day, you would ask the students to, let's start this book, whatever your strategy is for introducing it. And then you ask them, well, what do you think this book is about? And they have already some ideas from having done this exercise the day before. So I thank you very much, and hope you'll try it.
Thank you so much.